Hey everybody, we'll give it a minute or two. My name is Coach Bob with the Keto Diet App, and we're going to be talking and doing some live cooking demonstrations. Well, let me give you a little preference before we get going on this. This is meant for people that say, I can never cook keto, because the best way to do keto successfully is be able to make your own food. I don't like to trust other people when they're making it. They put things in. I find out after I've worked so hard all week, and then I find out some guy put some flour in it and he didn't know what keto was. So we're going to keep this simple. Some of you chefs may think it's basic, but for those out there, we're going to try and keep it moving quick, have some fun with it, and give you some ideas how to live a better keto lifestyle. So my name is Coach Bob Schneeberger. I'm in Elburn, Illinois. So pretty hot outside right now, but it was a beautiful day. I've been with the Keto Diet App since January, helping them launch the coaching program, which has been extremely successful. I've had over 60 clients that I've dealt with, and I think the program's pretty amazing, and we're going to talk about that as well. A little bit about me. I started keto. I'm going on my 7th year now. I lost over 50 pounds within the first 6 months of keto, and I've maintained that throughout those years. I was looking at a double knee transplant, so that was big motivation for it. But on top of that, I'm a type 1 diabetic. And I didn't want to end up having my feet chopped off, especially with spending all the money to get my knees put on. So I turned to the keto lifestyle. How's that affected me? I don't do insulin when I'm doing keto well. Now, if I do a cheat day or, have a bad day, whatever once in a while, then absolutely back to the insulin. But I was averaging 7 shots a day, and now I do 0. I take no diabetic medications because I'm eating close to 0 carb as possible, and it's just opened up a new life for me. The energy is incredible when you're living a keto lifestyle, and all the other health benefits that we can talk about later. Besides doing the keto app, I also do a tour catering company. So what does that mean? It means I've worked with people like the Rolling Stones, Taylor Swift, Britney Spears, getting ready to go out in August with Eric Church. We're going to be going out in September with Lauren Daigle. So I have a very high-end clientele, and they just want things right. So that's what we focus on. So any questions, feel free to ask. Let me start and say thank you to Keto Diet App for presenting this and making this all happen. Hopefully we can continue to do this and have a little bit more fun with it. So if you have any questions, feel free in the chat to put them on there. We'll try and get to as many as we can. They're also going to be posting Keto Diet App on Instagram. You can follow me at the Keto Initiative on Instagram, and also on Facebook, same handles. So we'll do that. So first part is going to be talking about eggs, different ways to do eggs, kind of basic, but again, hopefully you see something and say, you know what, that's a quick, easy way to do it. A lot of times I'm very busy and I don't have time to be cooking. So I like quick, easy to go things. So we're going to start out very simple with an over easy egg. So I have my nonstick pan there. And when I'm doing eggs, I like to do some clarified butter. So basically just take the top after you melt the butter. I lose a little bit of the fat, but it doesn't turn brown and make those nasty kind of looking eggs. So we're going to pour some butter in there. I have some beautiful organic eggs. I saw these and got these. I don't always eat organic, but it's a TV thing. So we got the butter in there. I got a little bit too much. Just shows you that it's live and things can happen. So if you put your thumb on this end and this finger on this end, you can kind of almost put a little pressure on it. So when you want to be fancy and you have people coming over, pull it up that way. Now, one thing I like to do is you have the egg membrane, and I like to just poke it a little bit. And what that does is you get that thickness of the egg white. And I don't know anybody that really likes runny egg white. So it just helps with the cooking process. Do a little salt. See that egg cooking there? Little pepper. Now, On the flip, people think it's straight up, and it's not. It's out and back. So let's watch this. It's very simple. Okay, we're going to flip it back in a second. Do that for a second, and then to the edge of the pan and straight back. It's more of a roll. Can you see that? Look at that. I wish I wasn't doing this because I'd love to eat this right now. Let's put that over there. Next, we're going to go simple again. You come home from work, you're keto hungry, you don't know what to do, you're a little shy and you're fat. Scrambled egg, right? So again, we're going to show you the crack, pull back with your thumb. See how that thumb works as a hinge? Works as a hinge. So egg together. Just pull back that way, open it up, and it looks really cool. It's a good way to impress people. So all I'm going to do, I got to invest in some overhead cameras. Wouldn't that be nice? So what I like to do is I like to take heavy cream, and the good thing about this one is, if you can see it, 0 carb. I always treat carbs as money, and I don't want to spend it early. So that's why things like heavy cream, things like that, anything that I can find and I don't need to spend money or carbs on it, then that's what I like to do. So I just add a little bit of heavy cream to it, do a little salt, pepper. Again, I have my butter, and regular butter is fine, especially for scrambled eggs because you're not getting it as hot. So as you can see that, hopefully you can see it. Be sure to ask your questions in the chat, any comments that you have, and I'll be happy to answer it. So, we have our hot pan. Pour that in. I'm going to turn this a little bit. So if you have a hot pan, it's a really quick scramble. You need to get a stopwatch on this. Boom. Take a look at that. Light, fluffy. The flavor with the heavy cream in it is so good. There you go. You can see me again. Let's clean that pan out. All right. I said it's going to be simple. All right. Now we're going to do a cheese omelet, similar to the scrambled eggs, but there's a way that I like to do it. Let me put that so you can see top of my head. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a 2-egg omelet. So again, if anything from this, I want to see you guys be able to crack an egg one-handed. So again, crack, use that thumb, and open it up. Crack, open it up. All right, again, little salt, little pepper. Now, one thing that I do, if you're doing any veggies or meat in your omelet, I like to do everything in one pan. So take your bacon, your onions, all that kind of good stuff, put it in the pan with your butter, saute it first. And what that does is it keeps all the flavor in the pan with the omelet, because I see some people cook their onions in a separate pan and then they add to it, you lose that flavor into it. If you're doing bacon, you lose that bacon fat that comes out of it. Same thing, sausage, anything you want. So again, like the scrambled eggs, we're going to mix it up nice and good. All right. You want to make sure the oil is hot, but not too hot where it's smoking. And what that does is it cooks the egg and it keeps that non-stick working a little bit better. So let's go down. And you can see as we pour it in, I believe there's 1/4 to 1/2 gram of carbohydrate in egg. It's minimum. So this is one thing I want to see is as I tilt the pan up, take that cooked egg and keep tilting the pan. And what that does is it takes the loose egg and it runs it off. So as we tip it, you can see the egg running off. And what that does is it allows for a nice and fluffy omelet. So again, remember, like we talked about the Friday, get the egg towards the end, and it's kind of going to be a roll. Now, that rolled a little bit too much. So here we go again. Roll. Take your cheese. I'm just going to do a cheese for fun. All right. Leave that for a second. You don't have to wait for the cheese to melt, because once you fold it over, look at that. Once you fold it over, that cheese is going to melt pretty quick. All right, let's clean that. So in the link, they're going to be posting where you can actually log in and you can sign up for a free one-on-one coaching where we can answer your questions, talk to you about the Keto coaching app and about the coaching program. What's so good about the Keto Diet app is when you log your meals, the coaches can see it on their end live. So what they do is every morning they'll take a look at what you've had to eat. They'll offer your comments back. You know, let's get a little bit more fat in. Let's get some more protein. Check your macros, see how you're doing. And you can also ask questions anytime. So if you're going out to dinner, you're not sure what to eat, you can take care of that as well. So let's talk about hard-boiled eggs. Is there anything worse than when you cook a hard-boiled egg and you cannot peel it and it sticks to the egg and you lose half your egg? Or you boil it in water and you go too long and you get that nice little green circle around it? Or worse yet, when it's not cooked all the way and it's like yolky. You know, I love eggs. I love eggs all different ways. I can't eat a half-cooked hard-boiled egg. So really quickly, I'm going to show you my air fryer. Now, this is the best way I found to cook hard-boiled eggs. So very simply, take your eggs, place it into the air fryer. 250 degrees, 17 minutes, take it out, put it in ice water. Now, you can see from these eggs here, I don't know if you can see because it's white on white. Very smooth, easy peel. Here, maybe we do this. It comes off like butter on the egg. It's easy to peel. It's so quick. You can do a dozen at a time, 250 degrees at 17 minutes. All right. Question, should I calculate net carbs or total carbs? Person isn't losing anymore. If you're not losing weight, and this is one of the benefits of coaching, it all depends on medical history. It all depends on your age, how many calories you consume. Calories do matter. So the difference between keto and a low carb lifestyle is when you're in ketosis, there's an actual hormone that's released. When you're eating carbs, it tells you to eat more. Think of Thanksgiving. You eat dinner, you're totally stuffed. I can't eat another bite. No. And a pumpkin pie comes out and it's like, oh, okay, I think I can have a piece of that. So that's a real thing. When you're in a keto lifestyle, you don't have that reaction. Now, I haven't eaten yet today. And that's pretty much every day, one meal a day. And I'm usually about 800 calories. And that's just for me. That's what works best for me. I'm never hungry on keto. So it's very easy when someone says, okay, drop calories. If I put you on a glucose diet and told you to eat 1,000 calories, you'd go nuts and you'd want to shoot me. If I tell you to eat 1,000 calories on a keto diet, most people can't even fit the 1,000 calories in. And I have a lot of clients, and it's the same situation for most of them. They're like, I'm not hungry. Because I'm like, I don't want you restricting your food intake. They're like, I'm not hungry. So my rule is eat till you're hungry and stop. The other thing you're going to find out when you're living a keto lifestyle is you can't eat extra food. So when you got a big, beautiful steak, you go out to steakhouse, you got potato, all that stuff, you can pack that in. You know you're full, you can still pack it in. When you do keto, you just don't have that desire. It almost kind of makes you sick if you eat too much food. So that's the big benefit. You're not hungry. So that's why we don't say worry about carbs. Most people have a really hard time getting a lot of carbs in just in general. All right, so I have 2 hard-boiled eggs that I cooked in the air fryer. And what I'm going to do is do little deviled eggs for you. So let me pull these eggs out. One thing I realize is all these white plates makes it hard to see stuff. Can you see that? Here, let me do this. There you go. I can't see. All right. So very simply, we're just going to take the yolk and we're going to take it out that way. Be sure to check the links that are being posted. It'll show you how you can get to a free coaching call. It'll tell you about the Keto Diet app. It's also going to have the links to our social media. Let me pull this up a little bit. All right. So we're going to take those egg yolks and we're just going to crush them up. Nice and smooth. All right. Mayonnaise. Olive oil mayonnaise seems to be the best keto-wise. If you don't like it, then that's fine. So it's about 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. I'm just going to do a 1/4 capful. I could have measuring spoons, but what's fun is that? Drop that in there. Yellow mustard, little hint. Always shake the mustard, otherwise you get that yellow mustard water. I'm just going to do a couple little drops. Pepper. Salt. And we're going to mix that up. All right. We're going to take our spoon, tilt this down. We're going to do this. Just so you know, I have 4 dogs here, so any minute they're probably going to start going. Put that on that. Take a little paprika. Do a little sprinkle on that. And there you have deviled eggs. I'm going to put those back here. All right. So we have deviled eggs. Now, one thing that I like to do is if I don't want to eat the fancy eggs and I just want to have some egg salad, sorry about that, I'll just take everything I just made, cut it up, mix it up, and make egg salad that way. So I like it a little bit tart. That's why I do the apple cider vinegar. You can simply take eggs, cut them up, add some mayo, salt, pepper to it, and that's all good. All right. I'm going to show you how to make some hollandaise next. But somebody had a question about keto rash and what it is. So some people, very small amount, I think I've only had 1 client with this issue, so it's not very common. But when we reduce carbs in our body, sometimes we have a reaction and we get a nasty looking rash. Very itchy. It's typically not all over. It'll be central in a certain spot. So the best thing to do is what I tell my client is add carbs back in. So maybe we'll go to 50 carbs, see if it clears up, because we don't want you uncomfortable either. So we'll start at 50 carbs, see if it clears up. Pretty much all the cases it does. And then what we'll do is we'll start reducing carbohydrates as we go along. So we'll go from 50, go to 40, give that a few days, see what happens, drop the 30, then maybe we go 25, 20 and work our way back down. It doesn't seem to last a long time. And once we do that route, you can get back down to eating very low carb. It's just a slower adjustment for your body. So anytime you get a rash, it's a reaction from something you're doing. So there we go. So Now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to make a very quick hollandaise. So what we need is 3 eggs, and we're just going to use the egg yolk. And I'm going to show you how to separate the eggs. Again, let's tilt this down so you can see better. So crack the egg, break it apart, go back and forth like that, and then you have your egg yolk. Drop that in there. Again, back and forth, very easy. You have your egg yolk. And the last one. Now, I save these egg whites. You can make angel food cake with them. If you like egg whites for breakfast, you can use it for that way. But there's a ton of recipes you can do with egg whites, so we can get the benefit of it from that. All right. Let me bring the blender over. Let me switch this way. All right. So we're going to take our 3 egg yolks, drop that in there. I have a tablespoon of lemon juice. Drop that in. You can use any hot sauce. You can use Tabasco. I have Marie Sharp's. We're just going to do a little dash, or a lot of dash, and then a little salt and a little pepper. So on your top, you have this little plastic thing. I like to take that out. And I have 1 stick of butter that I've melted. Make sure it's hot. So start that on. Add the butter. All right, let me get a, I'm not sure if anybody timed that, but as you can see, look at that beautiful hollandaise. I needed a nice steak or something to put that on. That is a really quick, easy way. The good thing about hollandaise sauce, it's beautiful on keto. You got butter, you got eggs. So you got plenty of fat, you got a good amount of protein, and it goes so well on everything. Steaks, if you take a little tarragon, a little vinegar, cook it together, add that to it, you've got béarnaise sauce. So let me make a little room here. And we'll move some of this stuff over. All right. So remember, shoot your questions in. We got any questions? Let me see them. I can't see very good, so. All right. I was on keto, but have to stop because my triglycerides were really high. How do I go back? I've only heard of one other person having genetically high triglycerides. But typically, if you do keto well, your triglycerides are going to stop. Now, people talk about cholesterol and LDL being the bad cholesterol or unhealthy for you. But most people don't know that the LDL is made up of 2 particles. Small particle and large fluffy is what I call that. The large fluffy is just moving fat around in the body, perfectly healthy and not a health issue. The small particle is what causes the heart disease and clogged arteries and all those kind of issues. So typically if your triglycerides are under 100, then you're primarily large fluffy on your LDL, which is fine. If you're over 100, then you got serious issues, you need to address them. So by reducing the amount of sugar in your body, and if you've been having problems with high triglycerides on a keto diet, then you want to go close to 0 carb as possible. Do that for a little bit and then go back. Now listen, I'm not a doctor. I've done a lot of research. I've seen what's worked for clients and real practical experience. So always check with your doctor. But there's actually a particle test you can take. It's not cheap, but they can actually go in and take a look at what your makeup is. I had a client with a 380 cholesterol. We had talked about this before we went to the doc, went to see the doc. Doc goes, you got to go on a statin right away. He said, wait a second. I heard some stuff about this and this. Anyways, he got the particle test done, and it turned out that he had very low small particle LDL. Doc said, I would not put you on a statin. You're going to be fine as long as you stay strict with keto. And by the way, his triglycerides were 67, so which is like an ideal amount. So somebody had a question, what if you consume too much protein? So the best way to say that is if you're an army and the protein is the little guys getting into battle, the fat is the wall in front of them, protect them. If you eat too much protein versus fat, your body can change that into a carbohydrate or glucose, basically. And what happens when that happens is twofold issues. One, you don't get the benefit of protein to build cells and muscle and all that stuff. The other thing is you end up getting a higher sugar rating or carbohydrate rating when your protein gets cannibalized. So think of the fat as a way to protect the protein, have enough fat, and you'll be good with that. Now, when you're looking at the app, you want to keep a good ratio. You want to be about 75, 80% fat to protein. But if you keep those numbers even, you'll be okay, and I'll tell you why. A fat gram is equal to 9 calories, where a protein is equal to 4 calories. So you're 2+ times more calorie benefit from a gram of fat than you are protein. So even though they may be even, you're actually consuming a lot more carbs to keep your balance right. But use the app and stay on track that way. All right, jello fluff time. Who doesn't love jello fluff? I think I said in the thing we're going to do this in under 5 minutes. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got 1 cup of heavy cream, and I'm going to add it to my mixer. And so you can see I'm not cheating. There's my mixer. You don't need sugar, vanilla, anything on it. We're just going to turn it up. I get sugar-free jello. I prefer strawberry. You can do any kind that you want. We're going to take 2 cups of water, put it in a pot, turn the stove on, kick it up high. Let's get that boiling. We're going to add the jello. Sorry for the back and forth. Next time I'll have a couple cameras. So we're going to get that water boiling. And we're going to add that and mix the jello right away. You don't want to go slow with it because what will happen is you'll get some crystal pieces of jello. You don't want that to happen. So we're going to mix that up. I'm just grabbing some ice. So the recipe will call for cold water. What I like to do is ice. Add that in. And let's mix that up. This keeps you from having to, oh, sorry about that. You can see the whipped cream whipping up good. I hope somebody's keeping a clock. All right. So here we go with the ice, and you'll see the ice dissolve. If you have a few cubes left in there, all right. Mix that up really good. Let me put this down so you can see. So you can see the ice is dissolved and it's nice and cool. So now we're going to take our heavy cream. I need the ice cream though. There you can go. And what we're going to do, here's my spatula. We're going to add that whipped cream into the fluff. All right. And then we're just simply going to mix that into it. Remember, if you have questions, feel free to ask. So as you see, get that nice pink color. And take your container and let's pour that in. Get all that goodness out. Throw that into the fridge. Let me do this. Dump that down so you can see it. That looks good already. We're going to put this in the fridge. Right there. That's what she looks like. So let's take some on a plate and take a look at that. That is my favorite dessert. There you have it. All right. So, let me tilt this up. Before we get on to our ice cream, which we'll get that set, we'll get that plugged in. All right. So the Keto Diet app is all about living a keto lifestyle and trying to do it easier. With the coaching, first of all, with the app, you can enter all your stuff in. It's got a ton of recipes and items already in it. So you can just go to it and say, okay, cauliflower rice, it's already in it, hit it, have how much you have with it. The other thing is it will help if you do the coaching program, your coach to see what you're doing. It's got a couple wheels on it so you can see what you're lacking in and what you need to do more. It will help set your macros. But again, health issues, things like that all play a part with it. So, So look for the link to sign up to get a free coaching call. And what that will do is allow you to talk to a keto coach with the Keto Diet app and find out what your lifestyle is, what your goals are, what can be expected. I don't want somebody coming in and saying they're going to lose 30 pounds in a week. Sorry, lost my track. What your lifestyle is, what your macros should be, what your goals are. You see people on certain social media saying, oh, I lost 30 pounds. First of all, you always lose weight right away, and it's water weight. When we eat a carbohydrate diet, the body holds on to water. The last thing our body wants to do is let water go because water is life. When you switch to a keto diet, you will find you quickly lose water weight very fast. That's why you can see people lose maybe 8-10 pounds first week. That's just the body saying, we like the way we're eating here. We feel healthy. We can let that extra water go. So that's in the initial period. Don't think that's happening all the time. 10 to 15 pounds a month is very realistic. I can tell you if you're postmenopausal over 55, a lot of women are between 4 or 5 pounds a month. If we get really strict with it, I've had really good success between 10 and 12 pounds a month, but that's also being very strict on calories and trying to stay total calories versus net. Now, what's the difference? A total calorie is when you look at things like keto bread and things like that, where they have 22, 24 grams of carbohydrates in it. Now, you can subtract the amount of fiber in it and get a net carb. That's a net carb person on keto, which is perfectly fine. That's what I did. It was very successful. There's a lot of good keto breads out there now. Hot dog buns, burger buns, breads, all that stuff that tastes very good. And I don't have a problem with that. But my thing is, don't do it all the time. Don't do it every day. What seems to happen is you retain a lot of water when you eat those products, just from people that have been doing it. Plus, I've done experiments with myself of eating it every day and then just doing it once in a while. Same thing with low-carb tortillas. I love them, but I never have more than one a day, and I try not to do a lot of days in a row. So are the keto bread good? Yeah, I have no problem with it. But if you're trying to lose weight on a more rapid pace, or you have a medical condition where ketosis is important, then I would try and go with a total carb, meaning there's 6 carbs in a cup of broccoli. If you subtract the fiber, 3 grams, it's net 3. So if you're doing total carbohydrates, you would count that as 6. If you're doing net, you would count that as 3. We don't want to go over 20 carbs regardless. So if you're doing total, that's fine. It's just going to be a little bit more restrictive for you, but you can get better results on it. Keto's a lifestyle. I don't want you restricting something that you really like. If you like a hot dog with a bun, I would rather have you go get a keto hot dog bun, load it up like you like to do it, and go that way with it and enjoy the keto lifestyle. If that's not the case and you want to go total carbs, that's fine. Eat the hot dog without a bun. So you got that as well. All right. Let me get the ice cream maker. Add a step. All right, so I want to show you this first. First of all, this is super easy to make. Super easy. 4 ingredients. You ready? Get a pen. Don't forget to check the links on the Keto Diet app. It's going to show you how you can get a free coaching call. You can sign up for the Keto Diet app and really do well. Excuse me. Get a little dry. And be sure to get those questions in. We're going to have a little time at the end where I can sit and take a bunch of questions. All right. So, got your pen? It's a 1.5 cups of heavy cream, preferably 0 carb. It's a 1/2 cup of almond milk, which I believe is about 1/2 carb. It is a 1/2 cup of allulose or whatever sweetener you use. Can you go grab the allulose in the pantry? Thank you. I thought I had everything set. A splash of vanilla. And then from that, that's your base. Now, in addition to that, we also have our Cuisinart ice cream maker. You can get it on Amazon. Excuse me 1 second. I need to grab something. All right. So, ice cream maker from Cuisinart. Now, what I did is I took that recipe, just put it in a container and froze it. And let me show you something. Scoops just like regular ice cream. It tastes so good. It is so full of fat. And the flavor. I don't know why people go out and spend the money on keto ice cream. First of all, I think it has a weird taste to it. I don't like it. I find allulose to be the best sweetener, at least for me. Bring this down a little bit so you guys can follow along. And it's expensive. So why do we want to spend all that extra money? So, oh, thank you. Yep. And all right, let me get my measuring for this. Remember, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. If you have questions about coaching, coaching's about keto, healthy keto, we've got it. So this Cuisinart comes with this little container, and you throw that into the deep freezer. And it gets really cold. It has this piece that goes in next. And let's get that on. All right, make sure that's working. The sweetener is allulose. The brand doesn't matter. It's kind of like sugar. There's a million different brands, but at the end of the day, it's just sugar. I like allulose because it's a natural product. It will show carbs, but they're not recognized by the body. So you can subtract that, and you're not going to have any effect on it. It's different than the fiber because you're still bringing that in. This is a pass-through. It's not recognized by the body. It has a very sugar taste to it. It also will caramelize. I have a great creme brulee, if you like creme brulee, on my Instagram, the Keto Initiative. And it browns and makes it beautiful just like that. The allulose, I've seen some stores starting to carry it, but I get it on Amazon. I buy a bunch at a time. This Keystone Pantry I like because it's a good amount. Chocolate turtles, chocolate, you name it. Anything I make, I use it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add all the ingredients. So I have 1.5 cups of heavy cream, 1/2 cup of almond milk, add in the sugar, I'm usually on the go, so I don't have measuring spoons. Teaspoon of vanilla. And we're going to mix that up really good. Want to make sure you have it well blended. Oops. All right. Now, key thing. So if you're just going to do it on your own, you don't have the Cuisinart, just take this, put it in a container. I can tell you the only difference that I see is the regular ice cream is a little bit more fluffy, has more air into it versus the other one, but it tastes just as good. So one of the key things is you want to turn this on and you can see it start spinning. If you don't turn it in, you put the ingredients in, you're going to end up with an ice cube. So put that in. And we're going to pour all that in. And we're going to let that go. If you have any questions, feel free. Remember, look for the Keto Diet app and the link where you can sign up and get a free coaching call. Talk about your keto journey. We'll let this go for a minute. Now, one of the things about this, a lot of times I'll start this as we're getting towards the middle of dinner. And by the time dinner's done, it's like soft serve ice cream. So who doesn't like soft serve ice cream? And again, remember, it's almond milk, heavy cream, vanilla, and allulose. There's no weird flavors to it or anything else like that. All right. I'll show you that in a minute. It takes time. Usually about 5 to 10 minutes. And remember, if you have any questions, send them in the link and we'll get to it. So, a lot of health conditions are benefited from a keto lifestyle. As I mentioned, diabetes. I've had clients with PCOS that do amazing. In fact, I had a client that spent thousands of dollars at a fertility clinic trying to figure out why she couldn't get pregnant. And I believe it was about 3 to 4 months on a keto lifestyle that she did very well. Thyroid calms it down. A little tip about people with the thyroid issue. Cardio seems to aggravate the thyroid. And I know a lot of people start doing keto and they want to get out and work out and do healthy activity. So they get on the treadmill, start working out a lot. Cardio seems to aggravate the thyroid versus weightlifting. Plus, we store glucose in our muscles. We make 200 milligrams of glucose a day. That goes in stored in our muscles. We use 100 for our brain. So we don't need to eat carbohydrates. We make everything we need. When you lift weights, you burn that glucose up, forcing your body to make more ketones and continuing that process along. And that's the best way to lose weight. It doesn't have to be 50 pounds. It could be little dumbbells or kettlebells or whatever you want to do. But just that physical activity will help with that. Now, this is our base of vanilla. You can go anything keto beyond that. So I have some Lily's milk chocolate chips. I have some chopped strawberries. You can do peanut butter. You can do a shot of espresso in there, or 2 shots if you really like it. As long as it's a minimum carb, you can flavor it any way you want. We can do some chocolate chips, raspberries, peanut butter, mocha, coffee. Give me some of your favorite flavors in there. You can do banana, but you got to kind of do a banana extract that's 0 carb. We're starting to get some progress. Can you see that spinning around? And what it does is it scrapes the sides. And you can see it's starting to get thick. On that. Now, anytime you do a keto diet, just check with your doctor. But I would say probably a third of my clients have a thyroid issue. And they've done very well. They were very able to lose weight. I had one client that was not able to lose weight. She had a thyroid problem, PCOS, and it just wasn't working for her. So we tried some different things. And I'm happy to say I think she's down about 40 pounds now. So that was a case of restricting the carbohydrates. We went total carbs for a month, which, it's easier when you do net carbs, but if you're trying to force the situation, then that works. Another thing too is it's very common, I see stalls a lot, where you'll be doing really well, losing a couple pounds a week, and all of a sudden you just hit that plateau. And no matter what you do, you just can't seem to lose that. What I recommend is you have to force the body. You got to squeeze those carbs out. So what I like to do is you can do the egg fast, which is basically no carbs. They recommend 7 days. Don't do it. You'll never eat an egg again if you do that. But I don't mind it for 2-3 days. It's basically a way where you can keep eating, but you're going to be at 0 carbs. And there's so many ways you can do eggs. We saw that today. Have an omelet, have deviled eggs, have egg salad, have a hard-boiled egg with some salt. Why not? So that's moving along. So, or we can do fasting. Now, you hear a lot of intermittent fasting from people in the keto community, but really intermittent fasting is good for anybody. The difference is if you're eating carbohydrates and trying to intermittent fast, it's very difficult. You get hunger pains and stuff like that. I do a 24 fast every day. What's a 24 fast? I don't eat for 20 hours, and I have a 4-hour window where I eat. I eat a light dinner, and then I have some snacks. I like charcuterie, so I'll do some salami and some cheese and nuts and things like that. That's kind of what I do. There's a 16-8, which allows for 16 hours without eating. But if you figure you stop eating at 8 o'clock at night and you go to 8 o'clock in the morning, there's your 16 hours. So it's not that big of a stretch. What that does is when you don't eat for 16 hours, that allows the body to burn up free radicals in your system. We've heard free radicals, bad for cancer, everything else. Basically damaged blood cells. I hit my arm like that, I just damaged some blood cells. Now they're floating around in the body, and we don't want that. So when I do intermittent fasting, I'm able to burn those up and just be healthier. All right, let me show you what the ice cream's looking like. See how it's starting to get thick? I love when it's like soft serve. Now, you do the same thing as we did with the other one. You make this, you finish it up, flavor it the way you want, throw it in the freezer, few hours, you got delicious ice cream. We'll do this one day, and we'll do maybe 5-6 flavors, so we always have a different thing in there. Somebody asked about depression and keto. Now, keto is great for the brain. Your brain loves ketones. It's good with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. They do it on traumatic brain injuries, and they've seen great success with it. The brain just thrives on it. Now, a couple things with depression, and again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist. I just know from my clients' reactions to it with the depression, when you're eating a healthy lifestyle, you feel better. When you eat a keto lifestyle, you have much more energy. So what? When you have that extra energy, you can deal with issues of the day much better than when you're tired. Think about it. When you eat a bunch of pasta and you're lazy and you can't do anything, that's how you feel. But on a keto lifestyle, you can see that kind of getting to the point we want it. With the keto lifestyle, we have more energy. We generally feel better. Plus, our brain loves ketones. And that's how we can kind of get to that spot where the depression diminishes and we let our body take over. I've had bad days. I've had tragedy in the family, things like that. And I know when I'm feeling great myself, I can handle that much better than when I'm eating carbs. And yeah, of course, a good Snicker bar is wonderful. But it makes you lazy, it makes you tired, and it's just tough to deal with situations when you're feeling that way. Best thing to do is try keto for a month and see how it's working and how that does. We're getting close. I'm going to get a couple bowls. Somebody asked about high blood pressure in keto. So I've had a lot of clients that have seen a big reduction in their blood pressure. Let me show you this and I'll get back to that. Can you see that in there? How it's getting nice and thick? So I'm not saying you can get off your high blood pressure medicine, but I'd say I don't know any of them that haven't reduced their medication, at least in half, if they haven't gone off of it. Now, it's not going to take place right away. Let me turn this off for a second. If you're a diabetic and you start a keto lifestyle, you can dramatically drop your blood sugars within a week or so. That's why people that take medication, especially glucose or insulin type reducing medications, I always say be very careful. If you're working with a coach, fantastic. I always tell them, tell the doc, I'm going to start keto. I'm working with the coach. We're going to be strict. Can I stop my meds and get his okay? Because what will happen is you can get low blood sugar, which is actually worse than too high of blood sugar if you're doing that. Same thing with high blood pressure. Cholesterol. Cholesterol is a big one because I have a good amount of clients that their first time they go in to get their cholesterol checked, they'll have a little bit higher cholesterol. And that's just because this is new for your body, dealing with all this extra fat. All right, I think we're good enough now. So it may be elevated, but I can tell you at that 6-month mark, it'll start decreasing. Plus, as I said before, look at those triglycerides. If those triglycerides are under 100, you're doing fine. Verify that with your doc. Let me pull this out. Take a look at that. Let me pull this down. Does that look good? Let's make sure. Bon appetit. Amazing. So, how do you make flavors? Take some chocolate chips. Throw some chocolate chips in. You want strawberry? You want strawberry chip? Throw some strawberries in. We're going to take those, mix it up, and into the freezer, and you've got it. Look at that, huh? Strawberry chocolate chip ice cream that I'm going to be eating tonight. So don't be jealous. Now, somebody asked about ketone drinks. And this is a big one because there's some companies out there that charge a ton of money and they tell you it's going to get you in ketosis quicker and it's going to help with weight loss. Now, beta-hydroxybutyrate or BHB or ketone drinks, as they like to sell them, have a place. Yes, it will help you get into ketosis quicker. It's not going to help you lose weight. The whole purpose is to make our body burn fat to make ketones. That's how we burn our body fat. That's how we lose weight. The problem is when you take an artificial or when you digest a ketone, BHB, beta hydroxybutyrate, whatever you want to call it, you're preventing your body from having to burn fat. You're giving it its energy. I call it the baby bird syndrome. You know, we all know that. Mama bird goes, gets the food, chews it up, and gives it to baby bird. Baby bird doesn't have to do a lot of work to digest that food. Same thing with BHB. You don't allow the body to break down fat and make your own ketones. Now, if you're at your goal weight, and I know a lot of Olympic type athletes that live a keto lifestyle, and they do it for the energy. I always say you can't do a quick sprint on keto, but you can run forever because the energy is endless when you're living a keto lifestyle. If you're at your goal weight and you want that extra energy and you don't have all that fat to burn, not a problem. I've been doing keto for a long time. If I go on vacation, I get off keto for a few days or do a cheat day, if you want to call it that, and I want to get in quicker, I will have a BHB drink. And that will get me back. My quickest is about 12 hours to go from high carb to in deep ketosis. And I do that to spur that on. I don't like it initially because getting into a false ketosis doesn't help you. You need to stop eating carbs and let the body's natural process take over. And then you will continue to burn fat and have great success with it. If you're taking those drinks and they tell you it loses weight and everything, but why are they charging so much money for it? I can teach you how to do keto for the cost of food. If you want coaching and get some extra education, yeah, you're going to spend a few dollars, but you spend money at the doctor too. Nothing has changed my life as much as living a keto lifestyle. So taking BHB and ketone drinks, and you know the companies out there that sell that stuff for $1.25, $1.50, it's not going to help you. And I can tell you that I've had several clients that came to me because of that reason. They weren't losing the weight. Weight Watchers, for example, is very low calorie, but they're not carb restrictive. So what happens is you will lose weight quickly, no doubt. And I've got several clients that have done that. But what happens is the minute you can't tolerate that anymore, meaning the desire to eat gets too much, then it becomes an issue and you end up binge eating and you put all that weight back in, which is really disappointing for me because you do all that work and I know how much it takes. With a keto lifestyle, you don't have that issue. You're not hungry all the time. There's no binge. There's plenty of recipes on the Keto Diet app. You can look at my Instagram, the Keto Initiative. Again, these are recipes that are quick and easy. Chocolate turtles, creme brulee, pizza. I mean, there's so many. Lasagna, ravioli. I make a lasagna that I bet that if you came in here, sat and had it, you wouldn't know the difference between that. Egg, cheese, that's it. Amazing, amazing. Well, a little tomato sauce too. So remember, look for the links and you can register to get a free one-on-one keto coach to talk about your keto journey, explain the keto coaching program and how it can benefit you. Coaching has been amazing. One of the great highlights I've had through COVID and all this stuff is working with so many wonderful clients and seeing them change. I had a 19-year-old kid who was 300 pounds. He's about 225 right now. Could you imagine being 19, 300 pounds and the difference your life is when you become 225 and now it just opens up a new world for you? Take control of your life. Check out the Keto Diet app. Check the links where you can get a free coaching call. See what you do. Keep writing your messages. I'll go on later. Any questions that you have, I'll be happy to answer. You can always find us at the Keto Initiative on Facebook and Instagram, or you can find us on the Keto Diet app and the Keto Diet app Facebook page. And I'd like to review there. If you have any questions for me, just tag Coach Bob in it, and that will come to me through the Keto Diet app, or you can message me directly on the Keto Initiative, and we'll be able to get that there. So I hope you enjoyed everything. I hope we can do it again. There's the ice cream I'm going to be eating tonight. Let me see that. Oh, one last question before we wrap it up. Somebody asked about Keto Mojo. So let's talk about testing. There's the urine strips that you can get from any pharmacy. They're not built for keto. There's some now that are coming out, but those were built for type 1 diabetics like myself for a condition called ketoacidosis. That's when we have very high blood sugar and we also have very high ketone level. This is a genetic issue and a very serious health issue. What happens is our blood becomes acidic and it can be deadly. If you're not a diabetic, it's not an issue. So don't freak out when you read the little pamphlet. What that does is it measures extra ketones released from the body when you pee, basically. So when you first switch to a keto lifestyle, your liver's going to say, hey, I got to go to work now. And your liver is going to overproduce the amount of ketones trying to keep up with the needs, what it is. After about a month, 6 weeks, your liver is going to adjust and you're not going to see that extra. Now, as an experiment, a few weeks ago, I got the pee strips. I checked on a blood meter. I'll talk about that in a second. I checked on a blood meter and I was at 1.9, which is very high ketosis level. I peed on the strip, nothing. So they're great initially. And it's great when it turns purple and it's really exciting, but it's not a long-term solution and it's kind of hit or miss. Some people think they have to have dark purple to be in ketosis. It's not the case. If you're getting any color on it, you're doing fine and you're making progress. Now, I like the blood meters and they're the most accurate and it will tell you exactly where you're wanting without guessing on a color. The brand I use is Keto Mojo. You can use any brand that's out there. I can only speak for what I'm familiar with, and that's the Keto Mojo. You basically prick your finger like a diabetic would do. You put it on the test strip, and it will give you your range. 0.4, 0.5 or greater means you're in ketosis. You don't need to be a 1.9 to 2.5 to have weight loss. You're in or you're out. So a person at a 0.5 is still losing weight. The way that measures is use ketones. So if I'm very active, I work out, I do a live cooking show and burn a lot of energy, my ketone level, my ketone use is going to be higher. If I check with the blood meter, my level is going to be higher. But later tonight, when I'm exhausted, sitting on the couch watching TV, I might be a 0.5. So think about when you're sleeping, you're using very little energy. I have a lot of clients that check first thing in the morning because you think that would be the best time, like when you weigh yourself first thing in the morning. Well, with ketones, it doesn't work that way. You haven't used a lot of energy, so you may show you're not in ketosis, but don't worry, you are. It doesn't go back and forth 15 times a day. Like I said, you're in or you're out. The only way you're going to go out is if you're eating carbohydrates. So I don't test. I test maybe once, twice a week. That's it, just for my own thing. I know if I've eaten carbs. I like it for getting back into ketosis right away to kind of see where my level is, and I'll do certain activities with that. So just want to answer that last question. Again, check out the Keto Diet app. It's amazing. It's a great way to live the keto lifestyle. Keto Diet app on Facebook, the Keto Initiative on Facebook. Both of them are Instagram, the Keto Initiative, Keto Diet app. Look for those links to learn how to sign up for coaching. The coaches are amazing. We just care about you and we want to see your success. So get on there, pick a coach that you like, and they'll help you and enjoy a keto lifestyle. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope to do this soon. So thank you, everybody.